A fall from grace for a California congresswoman once seen as a rising star in the Democratic Party. Freshman Katie Hill just announced she is resigning amid a bizarre scandal involving racy photos and an alleged affair with a congressional staffer. She just tweeted this: "It is with a broken heart that today I announce my resignation from Congress. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but I believe it is the best thing for my constituents, my community, and our country." And CNN national correspondent Kyung Law is joining us now on the phone. Kyung, why this decision now? What changed today? Do you know?
It's a little difficult to know exactly what the turn was. I had been hearing day by day that the sentiment was changing inside the office. This was not an easy decision. This is a very close, very tight, and also very young office. They're idealistic. They are new to Congress, and they had a lot of dreams, a lot of hopes, especially being led by someone so young and so energetic, who had a lot of ideas and was looking at quite a big launching pad for those ideas. I don't know exactly what changed, but we know that something did. And it's hard to know if it's exactly something with Katie Hill or an outside force. But in this letter that she has given out on her Twitter feed, it's that she didn't want to suffer anymore. She was having these private photos of personal moments, she writes, weaponized against me. And she calls it an appalling invasion of my privacy, that it is illegal. And what I can tell you, Anna, in talking to people who have seen these personal photos that have not yet been released, the fear is that more of them were going to come out. And what do those photos show? That's the big fear. This is, a millennial. This is a woman who has grown up with cell phones and photos throughout her entire life. Anyone who is a millennial who has grown up with a phone in your hand as part of a cell phone can understand living out loud with an Instagram account. So I think a lot of this is the fear. Hill says that all of this is pain being inflicted from a divorce. We have reached out to her husband. He has not replied to us. But what we can say is that this is the end of a very promising congressional career, someone who was able to raise an astounding amount of money running against an incumbent, flipped a district, and now the politics of this is what happens to that district. It is a swing district. It is a district that Democrats desperately want to hold on to.
And that was where I was going to ask you also, because we heard from your concerned voters there in the piece, what does happen next to this district? Because obviously it was a vulnerable district last go around for Republicans. It became a Democratic district, and now what?
Likely a special election. I need to double check the exact rules on this, but I believe the declaring date is early December, so this may fall to a special election. But again, I want to double check all of this. I can tell you that I've spoken to a lot of people who are in this district, and I spoke with them as this news was breaking. There's a lot of disappointment. There are a lot of broken hearts. This wasn't just a political campaign for a lot of people in this district. This was something that they donated time for. They knocked on doors for. A lot of it driven by the response to Donald Trump, that they felt that this was their way of affecting change door by door, pamphlet by pamphlet, and that Hill represented a new way of government. So for all of this to take this sort of ugly turn, it's not just disappointing for this congressional office. It's not just painful for this woman who's having these private photos released, but it's also painful for a district that worked so hard to flip this district.